Hey ladies, this is Mocha Mommy here bringing you another video, and this one is to repeat and reinforce some of the fundamentals of online dating that you can use to help better maximize your dating profile's algorithm. Now, what do I mean by maximizing your algorithm? Well, typically when we participate in any kind of online service, whether it be using YouTube or Amazon, the more we engage with it, the more likely the software is to come up and create lists of things that we would like and that will cater better to our needs. This is one of the reasons why Black women a lot of times fall behind in the algorithm. Now, you're right. They will say that other women of other ethnic groups are quote unquote more preferred. Well, the reality is they're a little bit more engaged in the algorithm. Okay, they're more likely to get back to their contacts. They're more likely to update their profiles. They're more likely to delete or block or swipe left for when they get things that they don't like. And they're also more likely to upload new pictures. They're more likely to change zip codes in their algorithms to improve their algorithm. So that's what I'm going to try to teach you to do, things that you can do to help improve your outcome. And then it will help you decipher if, number one, this is the right dating app for you. And number two, if it's worth participating in the paid service, because that's an automatic algorithm booster, right? Paying for the app after the free trial. So let's just discuss and talk about how we can best maximize the algorithm to end up getting the things that we want out of it.
And a shout out to Lady Daydream, who had left some great positive comments underneath my online dating videos. She had stated that she had met her husband through online dating, and I will link her channel in your description box so that you guys can check her out. She's full of a lot of just beauty, positivity, feminine energy, and I just highly suggest you guys subscribe to her channel. Now, underneath her comment, there was someone who had expressed some concerns. Now, this woman had some issues with online dating as far as her safety and the caliber of men she was meeting. So what I want to encourage you to do in this video is optimize your algorithm and try to mitigate those circumstances that would make you feel unsafe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat and reinforce some fundamentals I've given you in videos past, as well as give you some new information and strategies to help you improve your online dating life and offline social life. Now, I had mentioned in earlier videos that you want to use benign but pertinent vetting questions. After about 3 communications inside of the dating app, you may want to get them to commit to a voice call where you use your feminine power of suggestion to put a time and a date when you would love for them to call and actually talk to you or set up a FaceTime. This way, you can make sure that they are who they say they are and make sure that you're dealing with a man who is available. A lot of times there are guys who are in relationships or married on some of these dating sites. So you just want to make sure that you have a safe Google Voice number or any other voice service that could protect your phone number and identity, and make it a point to schedule a voice or FaceTime call, or even just send text messages back and forth and exchange social media. One of the things you also want to do is pick some of those benign but pertinent vetting questions. Things like, tell me a little bit about your childhood pet. Or things like, did you play sports in high school? What was your favorite childhood board game? So when guys bring up their childhood and if there's any kind of unresolved trauma there, you can kind of figure it out through some of these benign but pertinent vetting questions. Asking questions about if they had a dog or a cat growing up. Asking questions about what do they remember about their classroom pet. Asking questions about which game did they like better, Chutes and Ladders or Monopoly. Asking about what their high school sports was like and talking to them about those old glory days when they played basketball or football or ran track. That's a really great way to vet men. A lot of guys love to brag about their accomplishments, and men who had really stable and great childhoods and good family connections love to talk about it. So this is a way to find those guys out before you even make a commitment to meet up. Now, the first thing I recommend is to not use your own zip code. That's right. Don't use your own zip code unless you live in the business district, financial district, restaurant district, or just a busy downtown centralized area. I suggest that you use these centralized and business district zip codes because, number one, it usually has a more high-end population. And also, when you create and make your dates near nicer shopping centers and busy restaurant districts and business districts, it could be centrally located. So for instance, instead of using your own personal zip code, maybe a zip code near your job or a high-end shopping center that you would like to frequent more often. Sometimes I've had friends use Groupon, like they may use Groupon for a fitness class or a salon experience and then use that zip code in their algorithm. So I want you to make sure that you're picking places that are centrally located, that have other things to do around the restaurant, coffee shop, or bar that you may be meeting people at. So this way you can multitask and still make sure that you're safe. Also, by meeting people in centralized locations, it automatically weeds out people who might not be able to have access to those locations. So you are weeding out maybe people who don't have cars, people who maybe can't afford the Uber to get downtown. And even if you're scheduling these dates in the middle of the week, even better. So if you're scheduling like a Wednesday happy hour, listen, finding a guy who has 20, 30 bucks between pay periods, hey, that's a step. So think about scheduling some of those coffee or drinks only dates, maybe in the middle of the week, Wednesdays or Thursdays, and just see how far that gets you. Now, the feminine power of suggestion is a learned skill. You really want to start practicing that right now. For instance, if you and a guy have been texting for a while, you may want to suggest, you know what, we should have drinks sometimes. I often take my Nana out to brunch in the downtown area if you're available one day. Saying things like, well, hey, we should go out for drinks one day because me and my girlfriends do salsa in the business district on weekends, right? And then say like those feminine powers of suggestion. You want to kind of get those things out there. Practicing the feminine power of suggestion is just a skill that we all really need to build. So after 2 or 3 communications in the app, and then you get a voice call or FaceTime, then after 2 or 3 communications through VoiceTime and FaceTime, you really want to press for that in-person meeting. You want to press for that person to make sure that they're showing up in person in those centralized locations that you suggest. Now, another way to add additional safety is after you meet up with a guy for a coffee date, set up a brunch with your girlfriends, and then you can talk about it. For instance, if you are at work, maybe about 15, 20 minutes before your shift ends, go freshen up in the ladies' room, change your blouse, touch up your makeup. And then when people ask, why are you dressed up? Say, oh, I'm just going to meet a friend for drinks. You don't want to give them too much information, but you just kind of want to let people know that you're going out and that you're meeting up with people because it adds an additional layer of safety. Also, if you can plan multiple things at once when you get done with your coffee date to go out for a fitness class, when you're done with your drinks day only date, to stop by the grocery store and pick up a few things. This way, it just adds an additional layer of safety. And if you're doing it in these centralized locations, you might be able to walk to the next destination and not have to worry about the person following you back to your car in a desolate place. Now, I always recommend multitasking when it comes to drinks only and coffee dates. It's a way to make sure that you're vetting, adding additional safety. It doesn't put a lot of pressure on you to start relationships or to necessarily get a boyfriend or to quote unquote land a man. But what it does do is it just gets you out. Sometimes a lot of us are stuck on stagnant, and a coffee date or drinks only date is a lot less overwhelming. Also, it's a really good way to get out of a situation when things are not going well. And even if things are going well, it gives you a way to set a boundary. Now, for instance, let's say you go out on a coffee date and you cut it short early at 45 minutes to an hour, and then say, thanks so much. I had a great time, but I have an appointment to get my nails done. Thanks so much. I had a great time, but I'm going to be meeting up with a friend for brunch. Thanks so much. I had a great time, but I have some errands to run and I appreciate it. Thanks so much. I had a great time, but I'm going to go meet up for a family event. So you want to keep these things short and close to an hour. So make sure that you book them and schedule them with other activities you have to do as a layer of safety. And it also builds in a boundary. Now, here is an example of an algorithm boosting way that you can take on or handle a coffee or drinks only date. Number one, go on your first coffee date. If you're dressed up cute that day, which I hope that you are, take pictures in the Arboretum, the shopping district or restaurant district that you're in that day. Then perhaps go on your second, walk around a bit, strike up conversations with other pedestrians, and then go on your second coffee date. After your second coffee date, go to the grocery store or farmer's market. Pick up an item that you've never cooked with before. Google a recipe. I'll put in the description box a link of a recipe site that I like to use. The last two ingredients I got were sunchokes and kohlrabi. So they were both really good ways for me to try something new. Go to that farmer's market, get that new item, get that new piece of produce that you've never tried before, and then cook the item and post it to your social media. After that, upload the new pictures that you took of yourself around the Arboretum shopping center or restaurant district and the dish you cooked. That should automatically improve the level of your algorithm and who responds to you. For instance, some guy might recognize the restaurant or shopping district that you're at. So that person will say, hey, she lives in my neighborhood, so let me message her. Some guy who might enjoy cooking or eating healthy will see what it is you've posted, and perhaps he will then take that time to message you. Also, the app sees that you're engaging and then therefore would want to give you more quality matches so that you would perhaps sign up for their paid service or continue to use it. Listen, dating apps are 70% male. So whenever you get a woman that is engaged, it's good business for the app to keep you engaged. Now, if you find that app is not improving your algorithm when you're adding new pictures, deleting contacts of guys who you don't want to mess with or be bothered by, or just updating new activities and hobbies in your description, then you may want to move on from that app. If you find that you are getting improvements by changing zip codes, by adding pictures, and by engaging with the app more, you may want to continue with the app and then think about using the paid part of it. The algorithm is going to improve between the free and the paid site anyway. So you just want to make sure that it's worth it. Now, what app works best is going to vary by demographics and location. I'll give you an example. Here in the city of Austin, Tinder works great for people over the age of 35 who live in the suburbs. But those younger people who live downtown find that they just get a lot of drunk frat boy college students in their inbox. There's one YouTube influencer I follow who has done great dating even during the quarantine on the app Hinged, okay? Now, this is somebody who everyone says should not be doing good, right? This is a full-figured Black woman over the age of 30, and she has stated that she's been doing pretty well using the app Hinged in her city of Raleigh, North Carolina. Well, my older sister, when she lived in Durham, not too far from Raleigh, who is probably about 15 years older than this particular YouTube influencer, did not find a lot of success with Hinged. She ended up finding more success with apps like eHarmony and Matched. Why? Those are more established apps. And they attracted an older population because that older population was more familiar with them than the new kid on the block, which was Hinged. So it really just depends, okay? It depends where you are, who you are, what you're looking for, and how much you're willing to invest time-wise. And also, if you're looking for something serious or just to casually date or just to get your feet wet in the job, in the dating market, which is what I'm suggesting here. Just starting tips, okay? So really, if an app is worth investing in for the paid service, it's up to you. If an app is worth using, it's up to you. There are some new apps that are great in younger markets, but sometimes people who are a little bit older might find themselves doing better with more established apps. And again, all of these things depend on you. That's why you have to try them. This is one of the reasons why I suggest you do this now. Listen, if you're going to wait till you're 40 pounds thinner and your credit score is above 750 and you're on your last tray of Invisalign, what's going to happen? You're going to be out there 40 pounds thinner with the same introverted social skills that have not been developed, and two, a really sucky algorithm. Right now, get your algorithms down, figure out, screen, vet. Now, build those social skills so that by the time you get a step closer and you're all your way to that leveled up journey, you already have the tools you need. Hey, listen, if you've already figured out that the guys on Plenty of Fish or Tinder or whatever are trash, and you realize that you're doing well on Bumble and they're getting the results you like from Match, then you may want to invest in those apps. But only experience is going to tell you that. So, is it true that overweight women have less options? That is true. But one thing that no one ever says is that overweight women have no options. There is still a whole plus size wedding dress section at David's Bridal. So don't think that you don't have options just because you haven't arrived yet. Now, no matter what race you are, no matter how old you are, New York City by far is one of the toughest dating markets in the United States, followed by a distant second of New Orleans, Louisiana. Well, these things are difficult, but not impossible. Here's some of the ways you can improve it. Use the zip codes of some of the major transit hubs that go into New York City. For instance, on the Long Island Railroad, the Port Jeff Station, that zip code might help you yield a little bit better. Or things like the Crosstown Ferry, New London of the Crosstown Ferry, that zip code might help you yield a little bit better. This way, you're able to meet people who often frequent coming to the city and are used to commuting back and forth. Listen, there are a lot of guys who are out in the suburbs because of telecommuting and distance working and remote working, access working. So don't forget to use those venues as a way to maybe widen the scope of your online dating search. Now, as far as New Orleans, Louisiana, I have no idea, but my guess is just to maybe use surrounding suburban zip codes that have a lot of young professionals that commute in on a major highway line. I guess that's the best way to do it. As far as other major cities, I'm not really, but if I can get more information, I'll make it a point to give that to you. Now, as much as I would like to give you guys the actual sources, I'm getting this from someone who is a professional data analyst who is commissioned to commission and paid basically to know this type of things and to research these type of things and to give you the sources, maybe risking this person's job. Once those studies get published, I'll make sure to follow up with you. But just know that The advice that I'm giving you, should you apply it, you should be seeing some improvement. If you do not see any improvement, then it's time to move on to a new app. Now, for those of you in New York or any other metropolitan area where there's a Major League Baseball team, translate that online dating experience or online dating experience into Major League Baseball chats, meetups, and local area sports bars and stadium events, okay? This is still something that will favor you. If you're listening to this video today, that means that you still have time to get on MLB Pro Shop or Fanatics.com to still get those jerseys. Watch my Get in the Game, Play Ball video and really learn about how you can maximize this baseball season to initiate conversations and to improve your offline dating experience. Okay, listen. So what? You don't know a lot about baseball. There are a lot of men who are willing to teach you, of diverse ethnic backgrounds and of all different types of levels, okay? But what I encourage you to do is get in there and figure it out. So what? You're not perfect on opening day, April 1st. You have over 160 games this season to figure it out. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Listen, ladies, use online dating as a way to enhance your offline social life. Practice those vetting skills, those active listening skills. Make sure that you're updating those apps with great pictures and some of the books that you're reading and some of the in your self-improvement journey that you're on. You may find someone who has similar goals, interests, or hobbies. Also, use offline dating to kind of multitask, to get out of the house, to start some momentum, to get out of your stagnation, and to meet up with those family, friends, business associates that you've always been meaning to do. Multitask. Turn those coffee and drink only dates into meeting up with family and friends. So, ladies, this is your opportunity. Don't take this too seriously. Don't get too disappointed. If it stops becoming fun, take a break. But don't stop progressing. Keep moving forward. Keep meeting people. Keep putting yourself out there. Remember, you're an amazing person, and the world is waiting for the best you to arrive. Make sure you're having fun. Make sure you're staying safe. This is Mocha Mommy, and I'll catch you in the next video.